Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Helena. I'm the executive director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. I always introduce myself that way. Proud to, very proud and honored to be the executive director. I take my job very seriously, connecting businesses with our database of over 30,000 different business and civic leaders. Interesting enough, I do get calls. I got a call this morning from one of our members that was looking to buy bulks. And when I say tons and tons and tons of paper, he needs it to shred it for making pulp or something like that. So I, of course, go back into our membership database and do that referral. So it was a great morning for me because I always love to refer business. And that leads me right into what we're doing today. How to use LinkedIn to generate business and how to follow up with an effective email campaign, what works and what to avoid. I love this subject because we talk about this on our Tuesdays online networking. We do online networking Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. And we go around the computer, everyone, gives a 30-second commercial. But I always like to ask a question to the businesses on what works for them and what is effective for them. And we have found all the time people talk about LinkedIn and what is an effective email to get business. When you're on LinkedIn, what do? You connect with the person. You know what? You send an email. Hey, is it effective? Did it do its purpose? So that's why we have Muriel Twadi from Exit 3D Studio. She's going to be explaining this in this webinar right now. It is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV. So I'm going to turn it over to Muriel right now. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. We're going to have a lot of time for Q&A afterwards. So I'm going to let her start. Very excited, Muriel, with this. We've been talking about this with businesses on, everyone emails. That's their go-to right now. Even though I like to pick up the phone first, if you ever, talk to me and say, can I do a Zoom? I'd rather pick up the phone, but I always follow up with an email. I'd like to know what is effective way. Take it away, Muriel.
Thank you, Elena and the Chamber for having me today. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good summer. Thank you for joining me. Quick promise, in the next 45 minutes, you'll see why LinkedIn stopped working the way it used to, how to follow it up with email the right way, the 4 things that actually get clients now, and exactly what that looks like running for a business like yours. Let's get into it. Here is how it used to go. You had a solid LinkedIn profile, a good positioning, some posts that made sense for who you are. Then you'd send one good message, thoughtful, direct, to the right person, maybe a follow-up email, and poof, a conversation, then a client. A lot of you remember that. It genuinely worked. I built a whole business on it, and so did the people I worked with. Then everyone showed up. The same templates got copied everywhere. That quick question opener became a cliche overnight. Everyone bought the same automation tools, and inboxes, LinkedIn and email both became noise. Prospect learn to just ignore it all. So the real question isn't, should I use LinkedIn? Of course you should. The question is, what actually works when everyone's doing the exact same thing? Quick word on who I am and why this matters. I've spent 5+ years helping over 100 service founders turn LinkedIn into a real client pipeline through my LinkedIn Accelerator. I've also been on the buyer side of M&A. I try to acquire a business myself, so I know firsthand what makes a company actually credible and worth paying for. That's what Exit 3D Studio does. I build growth engines for founder-led businesses, systematized, automated, running without you in the weeds. The method is proven. What's new is that it's now fully systematized and automated. So let's ground this in results. Jean-Baptiste, for example, a client of mine, is a performance coach, went from 0 clients to 10 new coaching clients a month with this system. Jean-Luc, an IT consultant, went from 6 months unpaid, no project, to a long-term mission in just 1 week before it even fully applied everything. Thomas, a regulatory consultant, was about to finish a contract, and so his followers grow by 5 times, tripled his social selling index, and turned 4 meetings into signed contracts. And Aurélien, a Google workspace consultant, tripled his revenue before it even started on content or DMing people. A few more from different world entirely. Eric Evenot runs a real estate agency in the south of France. He got more traffic coming in and more rentals and sales closing as a result. Nina, a customer experience trainer, got invited onto TF1 primetime news in France, and that alone brought her a flow of leads and contracts. Straight from a client, John Doyle, CEO of Communicate, told me he was able to, they call on me to enter the French market. It's an American company. And he said that I was able to understand, his world, enterprise software, long cycle, regulated buyers, and that I delivered. And Charlene, a career transition coach, went from 0 client to 5 to 7 new clients every month with B2B contracts landing on top, and even got invited to a radio from a LinkedIn post. So what actually works now? 4 things separate the people getting clients from the ones shooting into the void. Multi-channel, the right personalization, speed, and visibility. Let's go through each one. Number 1, it's not LinkedIn or email or content, it's all of it, coordinated, landing almost at the same time. You want your prospect to see your posts, a short message arrives, an email shows up, suddenly you're in their ecosystem. Feed, inbox, screen in a short window. And when they check your profile, your LinkedIn profile, the offer is crystal clear. At that point, the only natural next step is a yes to talk to you. So when channel alone doesn't create that, the orchestration is the thing. Number 2, this is the email piece Elena asks about, what works and what to avoid. So wrong way, number 1 is a generic blast, and personalized outreach convert below 1%. So you'd spam 1,000 and wreck your deliverability. But the other extreme fails too. Spending an hour on one perfect email isn't magic. You can send 10 flawless ones and hear nothing. What works is the right level of personalization at volume, coordinated across channels. That sweet spot is a skill, and it's where most people get it wrong. Number 3, speed. The signals that matter the signals that matter now are tiny. Sometimes just a sure or a thumb up or an open or a click. Each is a buying signal with a short shelf life. Reply fast and it converts. Reply a day later, it's cold. And here is the trap. When this works, you get dozens of replies and you answer them late or badly or not at all because you're running a business. So you miss opportunities, you don't nurture, and people show up to the call cold instead of warm. This is exactly where my system earns its keep. It catches the missed messages, follows up the right way, and keep every conversation warm. And number 4, in B2B, you have to show up. Outreach lands 10 times harder when they've already seen you. And nothing humanizes you faster than video and live. It builds trust about 10 times quicker than a written post, but a beautiful video sitting on its own with nothing coordinated around it fails too. That's the theme today. So, and none of these 4 work alone. You have to do them all and together at the same time. And here's the bonus truth. Underneath all 4, you can run the perfect multi-channel system, but if the foundation isn't right, it falls flat. If your profile doesn't make your value obvious and speak to the right exact target, all of this can resonate with no one. Everything I just showed you sits on top of that base. So before the engine runs, the foundation has to be done properly, which, as you're about to see, is exactly why this is hard to do alone. So if it's this clear, why isn't everyone doing it? Because doing it well and consistently is genuinely hard. Here is where it breaks down. So, so why doesn't everyone just do this well? Because each option breaks down somewhere. Do it by hand, and it's fine for a few days. You land one client. But the game is consistency, and nobody stays consistent doing this manually while running a business. Try to industrialize it yourself, and you need to be both a skilled marketer and technically fluent. Almost nobody is both. Hire someone technical and they've got no marketing expertise. You end up feeding them with every piece of content and strategy yourself. Delegate to an assistant, and they're usually not qualified for this level of strategy and execution. Hire a salesperson or a setter, and they want a commission on every appointment and every sale forever. Buy the tools yourself, and you're stitching 2 or 3 platforms together, configuring and testing for weeks, burning real prospects before any of it actually works. To actually scale, not just land the occasional client, you need a done-for-you system that has been already proven and tested before you use it. So here's the engine itself. We prep together, profile rebuild, and content strategies shaped with you. So the foundation is done right from day one. Content gets produced and published for you. Consistent visibility without you writing a word. Or if you like that, you can still do it, but you know. Prospecting, outreach, and network growth. So having the right people reach the right way at volume, and smart, fast responses. So nothing slips, every signal gets caught and follow up on brand, and you stay in control. You can step in at any time. And coming soon, warm calling, like triggered at exactly the right moments. It's a flat fee, seamless, doesn't add a single thing to your day. One client told me, I did this manually for years, never disintegrated, personalized, and at scale. So what you get is simple, a steady flow of real conversations, your time back, a presence that compounds instead of restarting every Monday, and prospects who arrive warm because they've been nurtured. That's the difference between LinkedIn as a core and LinkedIn as a system. So here's the next step. If this clicked, if you want this running for your business, I do a free 15-minute one-on-one with everyone. It's a quick opportunity for me to better understand your business and look at where you are and where you want to scale. And if I think I can genuinely help, we book a second call where I show you exactly how it will work for you. I'm opening this to a funding group with a limited number of spots. So if you want one, grab it now while we talk at exit3dstudio.com/contact, or just scan the QR codes. I will show the QR code again in 2 slides. I just want to make a quick recap of what needs to be integrated. So to recap, the old one message playbook is done. What works now is multi-channel, the right personalization, speed, and visibility, all firing together and consistently. On a profile that it's built right. That's hard to do alone, which is the whole reason this exists. Do it, and LinkedIn becomes the most reliable client engine you have. I'll take your question now, and the link is going to stay up. You can ask me anything about the system, the tool, how fast it launches, whether it's really me responding. But before we get into that, if any of this landed for you, don't leave without booking your spot. Scan the QR code or go to exit3dstudio.com/contact and book a free 15-minute call with me. We'll go through where you are, where you want to scale, and what's actually in the way. The link stays up the whole time I will answer questions.
So everyone put questions in the chat. The question I have for you is what constitute, I connect with someone sits, I'll give an example. So while people are, on here. So someone says, Helena, I want a LinkedIn. I represent the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. Should I be like, hi, great connecting with you? And then once we connect, I send them information on membership with the chamber. That's the purpose of them wanting to connect with me. They're going to want my database or, to connect with me for that. Do I send them hey, great, you know what? We would love to connect you with our database of 30,000 different business and civic leaders. Here's my email, personal email, instead of going through LinkedIn. Reach out to me. Is that an effective email to get that conversation going? Give people like what tools, what words would be effective once you make that connection.
Okay, quick question. Is they are reaching out to you, they send you a connection request, or you're doing cold emailing, or you're the one connecting?
I want you to do both. I want you to do where they're reaching out to me. so everyone that's on here can, get that,
Okay,
as
okay, we
well
can do the
as
different scenario.
the opposite, where I am gonna reach out to someone I met at a networking event and want to connect.
Okay. What I do usually when I connect with several people, I will just add it in my, sequence directly that send at the same time, like the LinkedIn connection request, send the first message, send the email, and do the follow-up. Um, Regarding the exact message you suggested, it's yeah, you can say great connecting with you, like on LinkedIn, or great speaking with you at the last event, something like just to, like a greeting. And then rather bring value than try to push right away for your service. Because those who are like, by the way, I do this, and this is how you can book me, and this is what, like, it would be too salesy to start. But I like the line that you said, great connecting with you. I can connect you with 30,000 members. If you want more information, I'm available. I feel it's you're bringing value here to connect the person with 30,000 members. I think this is important that you say it. But if you mention, here is the membership link, sign up, there's no wait for an answer. Wait that they say, oh yeah, that's interesting. I would like, how can you connect me? Well, and then you reply. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with the person you're sending a message to. Don't, it's not, you're not handing them a brochure. You're here as a human, and it should be a back and forth conversation.
Good. That's what I'm looking for. How much information, should you provide in that first email? That, do you overwhelm them or give them all the facts up front, or just slowly do, like, hi, how are you? Give them, little bits and pieces of what you do, and you just answered that. Hold on for one
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Someone said, do you see your system as being timeless and continuing to be effective far into the future? Or could it be potentially become stale or need refreshing?
It will, since it's a technical system powered with AI and tech. This, I have a developer that will be updating it consistently to be, just like any software. I will say they keep doing new release seamlessly to keep it up to date. And we are lucky to have, I think, the best technology, the newest. So I'm not basing it on old technology, but right with what we have now. And yeah, and as it evolves, and also it's not just technical, but it's also as um, the LinkedIn evolve, or different tools and what others are doing, and sometimes the strategy can change a little bit, but I adapt the prompting and everything to make it relevant, still relevant always.
What are the biggest mistakes businesses make when using LinkedIn for lead generation? Good question.
Yeah, well, the first mistake is that there can be plenty. Um, it's sending right away the service right away, like doing that pitch in the first message, and it's not engaging. Usually they don't reply. It's better, I like better to ask a question, let's say at the end, because when you ask a question to someone, usually they reply. So that is a mistake. A second mistake would be to have a sort of empty LinkedIn profile that, or we don't understand who you're targeting. Maybe you're helping all businesses, and so all your copy is a bit flat because you take no position. This is also a big mistake to not, be specific and targeting one exact ICP. So profile, then also never showing up, never posting anything, or just having the profile are waiting that something happen. Another mistake, not following up, like maybe a person is in your network, you send a message and oh, they did not reply. Well, after some time, you can send a follow-up, like wait, they tell you no. At least this is what I prefer to hear, to stop, the prospection. So those are some example of mistake we see on LinkedIn specifically.
You mentioned, and I also mentioned this, you mentioned earlier we can message or email through LinkedIn to connect. Where can we get the email of that individual? If you look on their bio, on my bio,
Oh, good
I put
question. Yeah.
look on their bio because I put my I put the chamber email on there because I like communicating by email.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a generic one, like create an info so you can put that, and then this way, if you're not on LinkedIn, Mariel, you can agree or disagree. This is just my thought that you see the email immediately versus, oh, I forgot to go on LinkedIn for 1 or 2 days. But this way, if they emailed you, it would go into your regular email box. So I suggest, a lot of people don't like to do that. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, so depending what you're using, if you're just using LinkedIn and you search for an email, you go in where they put their information, at the top. If they put the email there, you have them. If you're using some tools, and there are many tools, they just have those information. You just pay, some credit, and they will find the email a way or another somewhere. Even if, let's say it's in a company, maybe a specific company, a specific person, they just guess the email based on all the other one they have. Let's say maybe it would be the first name dot the last name at apple.com. If all the other employees are like that, they know that by doing this you get the right email.
Right.
And then after, you double check the deliverability, if it's a risky email, you have all those information as well.
How can service-based companies differentiate themselves on LinkedIn in a crowded market? That's a good question.
It
If
is,
that's
yeah.
that's actually the purpose of this, webinar is how do you differentiate yourself through an email?
Yeah, well, it's by doing everything, by having an updated profile, something where you really talk to a specific person. Like, we know who is your target market, who you are serving, your service specifically, you talk to that person specifically in your copywriting. And then when you target, you do your lead generation, you search for, prospect on LinkedIn or elsewhere. Only target that audience and send them messages that bring value, and just, don't be afraid to follow up and nurture those prospects. But and also, it comes to the personal brand. I have to say, if you show up a little bit on video. Back in, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I loved how LinkedIn put the LinkedIn video under the photo. That was a great tool. You were landing on a profile, you could see the video, because the way a person speak, show up, you can see already if you find that person friendly, if you feel you'll be connecting with that person or not. So I think it's important to at least put one video out there, at least one. If you're able to do more, even better. But it's a great way to be unique, because you are unique, and nobody, even if your service is not unique, you're targeting the same person. You can connect in a way with video that you can't with email.
How many times, how many times do you give a person to connect? 2 emails, 3 emails without being annoying?
You know, the thing is, doing it manually can be a bit annoying for the person sending it, but you can easily send, I don't know, 3, 4 messages on LinkedIn, 3, 4 email as well, well coordinated over, maybe 2, 3 weeks time, and then follow up again 2 months later, doing some check-in here and there. Just the difficulty is doing it consistently manually. This is difficult.
Got
That's why
it.
it's better to have some sort of system. But if you only need to land, as I say, one client, yes, do it manually.
What trends do you see shaping LinkedIn B2B sales over the next 12 to 18 months? And what should business development teams prepare for?
You say what trend
Yeah,
do I see in B2C?
yeah, on
Okay,
LinkedIn.
okay. I still video is out there. I see a bunch of different things. Depending
Post
what you're selling.
articles, post articles and get feedback
Yeah,
from
I've
people.
discovered something interesting is that most backlink that I have come from LinkedIn. So seriously, when you do a newsletter or an article, the backlink count for SEO. This is a bit off topic, but I think it's important. And on LinkedIn, if you want to use LinkedIn on B2C, you still need to define a persona and know if, for example, this is for the business women in finance, just know the position that they have. If you're doing prospecting, if you just want to be, posting nice, but you won't get the same results. And but I'd like to know, what do you sell in B2C? Because maybe it's on Instagram that you should be going, or Facebook. Can we get that answer? Like,
For your system, it's Lincoln. For your system, is your LinkedIn related workflow tech stack all off the shelf or some is your custom software?
no, some are my custom. I connect some tool, and I have my own, like agent built on top of it.
Do you
Yeah.
find that LinkedIn Premium is worth it?
Um, yes, maybe not consistently. I like to go there and source all my prospect and just have it. I have it, then I don't need to be keep using it. Go there to source the right prospect, because there's a lot of criteria um, that you don't have on the free LinkedIn. Like you can see by the revenue of the company, number of employees, this sort of things. So it's interesting to do your sourcing, then you export it all and do your prospection from there.
Yeah, also make sure that you know whatever you're doing, that I always say, especially when, and I'm just saying this, not being political, just talking about, I had kids that came out of college and they were looking for jobs. And even you can relate it whether you're looking for a job or looking for a customer, it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Make
true.
sure that everything on your feed is clean. That is, and I don't mean clean like that, that's what the message you want people to see you with. So it's really important. And, sometimes I go on people, they'll want to connect with me and I'm like, I see a video and I'm like, that got in there. I know this person somehow, like 3 years ago, they kept it up. They, just go over your feed and how often should you update your bio? Like I haven't updated my bio in a long time, and I probably have to do that. Do you think changing it is good?
I think if you change a bit your positioning or your target audience, definitely. And you can be playing with it. Sometimes if you plan, for example, to target all the real estate agents, and you have, I don't know, a financial advisory for them, um, make your profile just for them. And if 6 months later you decide, no, now I will do insurance people, but I still provide the same service, do it by phase like this. So your prospection land even better when you can really target and show that you're targeting one specific. I just wanted to see something about the video. Can I say something? And I think I didn't tell you, Elana, but I think it was good. I was trying to get the webinar and I was email you. And it's only one day I was being interviewed live on LinkedIn and everywhere that I finally got an answer from Elana. So I think this is working the video. Like when you see someone on video, it makes a difference compared to the email only.
Yeah, so everyone just you can shoot. I started to do once in a while, just putting a video of if something irks me, like I call people, like today I said I got a call for a referral. This person wanted probably this could be a 50 to $100,000 sale, for a future member. And so when I would call our members and say, hey, guess what? Joe just called me. He's a new member. He's looking for, a million reams of paper. And I'm making that phone call and I call and the person that answers the phone doesn't know who you are. Or they say, he or she's not going to be here. Call back at 3 o'clock. You know what? You need to know who is answering that information for you. And it's really important. And and I did a video on that. I said, oh my God, I can't believe I called someone. The person that answered the phone didn't know who the president was. I got more positive likes on that than me like doing my networking and my all our social media that we do like the SBA and we do access to capital and meet the lenders and how to do business with the MTA. I do a 30-second video of how mad I am of stupidity and I got more likes than anything. So you never know, everyone.
Yes. Mm.
Are there yeah. Now, are there a certain number of level of followers needed to work?
No, no,
Yeah.
but it's good to keep growing your network though.
Yeah. Any other questions? So everyone take it, here is her scan code. And here is that where's can you put your email in the
Sure. My email is Muriel at exit3dstudio.com.
so it's your first name at exit3dstudio.com.
Yes.
Someone asked how many followers do you have?
Myself, in total across all platform about 22,000.
22,000.
Yeah, on LinkedIn about 15, 16,000. This is my most developed one. Then I have YouTube for the videos, some Instagram as well. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, Muriel, thank you so much for doing this and being the sponsor of this. If you're interested in sponsoring a webinar, reach out to me. We always love these discussions on how to grow your business. So, and talk about that before I close. September 17th is our annual business expo. It's free to walk around. Get your ticket. It's a great day. You'll meet small, medium-sized companies, major corporations. If you're interested in a table, let me know. And we're still going strong. The online networking. We just did it in-person networking yesterday for a lunch. And in August, we have at the State Grill in the Empire State Building, in-person networking cocktail reception. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Muriel, reach out to me, and everyone. We're one day away from the weekend. I hope, and it's almost August, everyone. So I can't believe it. Everyone, I hope you're enjoying your summer. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Muriel. Muriel, thank you for this
Thank you, Elena. That was my pleasure.
It was very, very informative. Thank you for sponsoring it. We so appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye. See you soon.